Nemkov versus Francis. Jake Paul staring down Anthony Joshua. What do those things have in common? Well, they're two things that I don't understand and I'd like to. I don't know what it means. Nemkov becomes the PFL champion and beats Ferreira, who's just a monster of an athlete. Nemkov looks great. He was a 205-pounder. He's moved up to heavyweight. This rise has been kind of slow and a story that's very well told. He's cornered and trained by Fedor. Nemkov gets the win. And there was just winds blowing in the direction that he was going to call out Francis. I was just left as a viewer that why? Why? Hey, Nemkov, you're now champion. Who do you want to fight? I'll fight anybody, but I want to fight Francis. Why? There's not a wrong answer, by the way. I'm not trying to trick you. Why would you want to fight Francis? Why, if you could call somebody out, would you call a guy out who hasn't fought anybody in over a year? Why, if you were to call a guy out, would you call a guy out who in his last 3 has lost 2 of them? Why, if you're calling a guy out, when you call a guy out, would you call a guy that's been knocked down 4 times in 3 fights? Why, if you're calling a guy out, why would you call it? Why do you want to fight Francis? He's not here. We can't do an interview with it. He doesn't sell any tickets. Why you want to call out Francis? Is it because you believe that that's a big fight? Do you really believe that, Nemkov? Do you really believe that? Do you know of an arena that you could sell out if you fight with Francis? Anywhere in the world, you pick one. It can be the gym that you went to junior high at. Again, this is not a trick question. Do you, Nemkov, it's your idea. They asked you who you want to fight. You're the one that said Francis. Why do you want to fight Francis? Do you know of a building that you could cram full of people if you're fighting Francis? Can you picture a press conference and a back and forth taking place when it's you and Francis? Is there a larger fight out there? Is this a checkers? Or I'm thinking checkers, but this is actually a chess move, because this fight is going to lead you to something where you can fill up that junior high gymnasium. No, that's not it either. Then why do you want to fight him? Why do you want to fight Francis? Why would you call out Francis? Why, if you're the champion and you now are guaranteed the main event, you get that spot is yours. Why do you want to fight Francis? And I do believe that there's an answer to that question. Whether I lacked the current intellect to know the answer or not, I do trust that there is an answer. So, Nemkov, I've known you for a very long time. Come on. If you were here, this is what I would say to you, so please respond. Give me a response. I'll tell the world what you said. They asked you who you want to fight. You said Francis. I just want to know why. That's a very reasonable question for me to ask, but I'm being sincere and I want your answer. Now, tell you guys another thing I don't understand. Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, and it turns into, right, so they're doing the face-off, and it turns into Jake Paul getting on his tippy toes. And it turns into Jake Paul almost like he's hoping that his neck will grow, where he's trying, and then he finally just jumps. He finally actually jumps off the ground so that his eyes lock eyes with Joshua. What's that mean? Because Jake most certainly is not the one that created that. That move has been around for 100 years. But what does it mean? What are the deeper psychological levels of wanting to look somebody in the eye or show them that you're tall enough to look them in the eye? Is that in fact the goal? Because it could be the action with a reverse engineered goal. Like the action may be that I want to look you in the eye, or I want to show that I'm able to look you in the eye. With my stature, I'm eye to eye with you, but perhaps not. Perhaps it's a great demonstration to make sure that the audience understands I can't look you in the eye. I can't even look you in the eye on my tippy toes. I can't even, when I jump off the ground, get nose to nose with you. You're so big and I'm so small. Is that the message? Because there is a message, for sure. Like, as an artistic display, this is for sure a message. This is not a photo that anybody needs. A picture is worth 1,000 words. That's a very true expression. So when we decide that we're going to bring Joshua and Paul together, and one of them is huge and one of them is not huge, one of them looks like a world heavyweight boxer and the other does not look like a world heavyweight boxer. One of them looks like they're 6'4", and the other one of them does not look like he's 6'4". Like, we did that for something. It wasn't an off-the-cuff shot that somebody clicked or somebody drew their iPhone. It was a staged photo. You come over here, you come over here. All right, get dick to dick, ready, stick. Why did we do the picture? What story is it that we're trying to tell? It's not a fight photo. There was nothing fight photo about it. They didn't even say the word fight in the background, like on a backdrop. They didn't put their hands up, just for example. There was nothing about it that said this is going to be a fight photo. There was nothing about it for the little old lady in Iowa to come across and go, whoa, something's happening here. I'm going to stay right here. This was chosen by somebody for artistic reasons, of which I'm trying to interpret. Why face them off if they can't get face to face? And why, when they're not face to face, jump and tippy toe? This isn't Jake's move. I'm not putting any of this on Jake. This isn't Joshua's move. I'm not putting it on him, but I can tell you this. Mike Tyson never fought a man, and this is a literal statement. Mike Tyson never, not one, never fought a man that he could look in the eye. 100% of Mike Tyson's opponents were taller than him. And you would laugh, you would turn in your grave laughing at the idea that Mike would get on his tippies or start jumping up and down, or go and get a box and step on the box to demonstrate for the audience. You may be bigger than me, but I've got the courage. As a matter of fact, you're clearly bigger than me. As a matter of fact, just for anybody here who got here late and hasn't paid attention, this guy is bigger than me. And you only see it that way. Like, whatever the psychology is, it only goes one way. You don't ever see the bigger man come sit down, which is kind of funny. You don't ever see the bigger man take a knee, which, by the way, is kind of funny. What does it mean? Psychologically, what does it mean when the smaller guy puts a box down and steps up on a brick? When he gets on his tippy toes, when he jumps off the ground to look a guy in his eye, what is the story that we're being told? And I got to tell you, I'm equally as confused. I've heard plenty of weird call-outs that I didn't get in my past, and I've seen this move with the look at me, I'm shorter than you, or you're taller than me, or whatever that message is. It's just psychologically, I don't know what's being told. So let's just go in order. Nemkov, you said you want to fight Francis. Why? Jake Paul wants the world to know that Anthony Joshua is taller. Why?